Oh, we're live. Yeah. Hey, how's it going, guys? Jeremy here. This is a Sunday video update. Today's date is Sunday, May 4th, 2025. Joining me off camera this week. Actually, Dad's in the kitchen. He's sitting at the kitchen table. Amy is lying down in the bedroom. She's not feeling well today, so she will be sitting out this week's edition of this the the Sunday video update. I was thinking of something else and it almost slipped. No, this is the Sunday video update. I'm so glad you could stop by and indulge me for about the next hour or so. My name is Jared Fuller, aka Jared Bear. We got some stuff to talk about this week. Usually, Dad sits on the couch and I'll turn the floor over to him and I'll ask him how his week was. But see, he's in the kitchen, so he may not be available for immediate comment unless he decides to walk out here and give us an update on how his week went. And I think I hear him coming. There he is. How was your week, Pop? Stressful. Yeah, yeah. Um, so I woke up to some sad news this morning. Um, my Aunt Amy passed away. My Aunt Amy Searles had passed away. She had been battling some health issues for quite some time, and I've been told that, and I actually I shouldn't even say or to make it known what I've been told because the information may be inaccurate. So I don't really want to get a rift started by saying something that may be inaccurate. But in short, I was told that my Aunt Amy had some heart issues and yeah, so it was one of those things. She was married to my mom's brother, and it's another hit from my mom's side of the family. The news came as a bit of a shock this morning when I read about it. My cousin Donald, which is her son, had went onto her Facebook and updated the status to let everyone know, let the family know that his mom had passed away. So my condolences go out to all my cousins, Donald and Josh and Ryan. Um, I know what it's like to lose a mother. Been there, still going through that. Um, so I'm gonna try to be there for them as much as I can to the best of my ability, and I'll see to it that I'm always here if they need someone to talk to. But it was a bit of a shocker to wake up to that kind of news this morning. I don't know how old she was. I think she was in her 70s, I think, but I could be wrong. Um, yeah, she was married to my mom's brother, my uncle Don, nicknamed Willie, because his name was Donald William. So everybody called him Willie. I called him Uncle Willie for forever, you know. Um, so it was a bit of a shock, and it's a sad day today. Um, that one of my aunts had passed away. I don't know how long she had been battling health issues. Again, I don't want to put any inaccurate information out there because I don't want to cause a rift. I don't want people coming at me saying, you shouldn't talk if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to leave it as she had some serious health issues and she passed away. So I'm really just kind of heartbroken about that because, my Aunt Amy, um, we weren't close, but we did talk quite a bit on Facebook. We would communicate back and forth. And, she talked to my mom quite a bit when my mom was still around. And, but I didn't know that my Aunt Amy was that sick. I didn't know that her health conditions were that serious. And so, again, I extend my love and my condolences to my cousins for losing a mother and a grandmother. Um, it's hard, but I'll be there as much as I can to help support them emotionally, and then we'll just take it one day at a time, as we always do. Ain't that right? That's all we can do. Um, so my week was a bit. Uh, eh, I want to say it was give and take a little bit. it was, there were some good parts, there were some not so good parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock the not so good parts out first and then get to the better parts. So this is still ongoing with the people I've spoken about before, with their drama and their lies and spreading misinformation and scaring people out of having communication with me. And one of the issues lately, this comment had come up on one of my videos 2 days ago, in one of my open thought videos. And this came from a guy named Herbert Clonch. He told me to stop throwing his name around, but I can't now, Herbert, because your name is on one of my public videos. So I'm gonna read the comment you left, and then I'm gonna smack it around, just to show everyone how ridiculous you sound. Scruffy, what's your problem? So that was my dog, by the way. Um, so this is what Herbert writes on a video I had made calling out Russ Boggs. He says, "Okay, you made your video. We still don't care. We still want left alone." So is that true, Herbert? You don't care about what's going on. You don't care that you've been lied to. You don't care that there are people out there who have, um, they are engaged in deceit and chicanery and skullduggery. You don't care that you're being lied to. Well, that's good to know. Um, then he says, "Your problem is not our problem." Well, let me stop you right there, Herbert. Um, First of all, it is not my problem. The people who are talking shit about me, that's their problem. And I'm not the one that dragged you into this. They did. Continuing, we don't need to look for the truth. So you're a liar. Are you a liar, Herbert? Because if you don't need to look for the truth, why suddenly now does the truth not matter to you? The truth mattered when it came to your son's cancer diagnosis and his health care and his treatment. The truth mattered then, but now suddenly the truth doesn't matter. You're not looking, we don't need to look for the truth. So you're ignorant. Thank you for pointing that out. Continuing on, we don't need you in our life. Well, if you didn't need me in your life then, why didn't you say so then? Why did you wait until now, when some troll, when some liar is going to feed your head with bullshit? Why did you wait until now? Um, my son does not need you in his life. Okay. Well, let me just point out that, and this is not to, blow my own horn or anything, but last year their son was not going to celebrate Christmas. Okay. He was not going to celebrate Christmas. I sent him an ornament with his name on it. If it wasn't for me sending him that ornament, they wouldn't have put the fucking Christmas tree up. So tell me another lie, Herbert. I have asked nicely. I'm done being nice. Well, maybe you were never nice to begin with. Going back to what I said previously, we don't need you in our life. Well, if you don't need me in your life, then that tells me you didn't need me. If you don't need me now, that tells me you didn't need me then. So, well, they're not bothering me. He says, I've asked nicely and I'm done being nice. Well, maybe perhaps you were never nice, Herb. Maybe that was just an act. Unlike me, I'm real and authentic and genuine in the things I do. Stop throwing my name around. Well, you kind of put your name out there, Herbert. So I'm not throwing your name around. You're doing your own throwing around. I will take this to the authorities. Cool. Awesome. Take it to the authorities. You think I care? This is harassment. No, it's not. No, it's not. Let me tell you something about harassment. We have went to this, and this is broadly speaking. Anytime someone tries to have a civil conversation to get to the bottom of a problem, when they run and when they run away like cowards and scared little bitches, then they want to throw in the harassment card because they're afraid that they just might be confronted with something that might make them change their mind. This is not harassment, Herb. Sorry to tell you. If that don't work, we will go another route. We'll go any fucking route you want, Herb. I don't care. I'm trying to have a civil conversation with you. You still don't care. And that to me is dangerous. And, when so you don't care about the truth of things, but you're willing to block me based on what someone else told you, but you don't care. That sounds really hypocritical, but I'll leave it at that. You guys aren't really wrapped too tight. Um, this is what happens. See, I try to have a civilized conversation, but they are so hell bent on believing the worst of someone. I think that's everybody nowadays. They all just want to assume or believe the worst. And here I am trying to have a civil conversation to try to get to the bottom of what's going on. Furthermore, to try to teach something that should not have to be taught, which is logic and critical thinking, which obviously, Herbert, you lack big time. You lack it. I tried to have a conversation with you from, man to man. I even asked you on Messenger, if you have me blocked from your son's page, then why are you following me? And I wasn't being rude. I thought it was a good question. If you block me from your son's page, then why are you still following my account? And then so you went ahead and blocked me again. See, this is childish behavior, and all I'm trying to do is be civil with you. So, um, I'm sorry that anybody would feel that I am this terrible person, and yet there's no evidence for the claims that anyone's making, although I think they may have shifted their, the claims because they know that the claims that they had made before are dead in the fucking water. There's never gonna be a claim. Now, they're saying, "Well, Jared is being nasty to the parents and using profane language." Like, oh my god, profane language. And they do this every time I go live. Then they think they gotta go outside. They just interrupt at every turn. I don't know why they do this. You guys are done now. You're done now. You went outside, you did your thing, now you're done. Now I lost train of thought. Um, I don't understand why, you know, why any of this is happening. I just don't get it. These people are clearly bored out of their fucking mind. I just had a little argument not long ago with Carrie Rickman, who's been a problem for me for any number of years, and then she's telling me to leave Jody Jacobs alone. Well, as long as she continues to run her fucking flat trap, I'm not going to leave her alone. She should probably just shut up and stop lying to people about me, and then she wouldn't be creating this for herself. And there's another person, whom of which, by the way, I had taken a screenshot of this because this is going to be helpful. Someone named Frida Zeidel calling me a child predator on Facebook. So there's evidence for me that I'll be showing my lawyer, Frida, and then we're going to go from there. And I'll find out where you live. I'll get an address one way or the other. This is childish shit. I have too much shit to do in my life. I have big plans right now to do things, and I'm not going to disclose my plans here. But as I pointed out on Facebook, move in silence. That way they don't know where to look. They don't know who to attack. They don't know what to ruin. Just don't tell anybody what you're doing. And that was one of the lessons I had to learn dealing with these fucking asshats because they have nothing better to do with their time than to sit and listen to me on YouTube. And her, Debbie Carver and all these people have nothing better to do with their time. Nothing. They sit behind a fucking screen 24 hours a day watching every move I make. They have no life of their own. And that becomes a problem. So I wanted to get that out of the way because, Robert, you have fallen in with the wrong group of people. And I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call it out, dude. You made it known to everyone, not just in the comment section of that video, but you've made it known to the fucking world that you don't care about truth. That's ignorant. And you say you don't need me in your life. Well, that's, you know what, Herbert, that's fine because I'm not a liar. So maybe I'm not someone you want in your life. You prefer liars over people who are honest. Well, that if that's your taste in people, your preferred taste, then you can stay the fuck away. And furthermore, I wish your son all the best. He will always be a warrior brother to me, no matter what you say or what your wife says. He will always be a warrior brother to me. Period. And tell your little minion friends they can fuck right on off because I'm not done with them yet. Far from done. So that was the bad part or the not so nice part of the week. There were some good parts. I went over to well, Dad and I, we've been hanging out quite a bit lately, and because I'm currently without a vehicle, so Dad is, he's been rather charitable and saying, "Come on, son, let's go for a ride somewhere. Let's just get you out of the house for a little bit." So, um, we went out to the Pine Run Inn last week. We weren't sure if we were going to go or not, but I said, "Come on, Dad, I got the money. Let's go." So we did, and it was fun. There were hardly any people out there at Pine Run last week. We got there too late for the Murphy basket too, which I thought was just, it's like, don't you guys ever keep enough walleye in stock? I love walleye. Hello to Adia. I don't know how to say that in chat. Adio. Adio. I don't know how to say that, but hello anyway. Audio. Okay. And maybe that's how it's pronounced. I have no idea. We have some comments from none other than Chewing Off My Toenail. This guy is funny every week. I think it's basically the same, the same humor. But he left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 comments this week, and I'm going to read those off and try to lighten the mood a little bit here on this Sunday video update. He says, I tried to stack my toenails to build a bonfire, but couldn't get my feet close enough. Then he says, there were toenail clippings mixed in with my Cheerios this morning, and that made me very happy. I don't know if I want Cheerios now. Last night for supper, I had hot dogs with toenails baked into the center. Ew. Oh, I love sauerkraut with toenails baked into it. Ew. Sauerkraut. And then last but not least, he says, tomorrow I will enjoy a stack of Bisquick pancakes with toenails sticking out of them. Thank you so much, Chewing Off My Toenail, for the disgusting but yet humorous comments this week. I mean, it's funny. It just, because when you picture it, it's like, it's gross, but it's kind of funny in a way. Just having that visual in my head, but thank you anyway, nonetheless, Chewing Off My Toenail, who comes in every week. He's a regular here on the Sunday video update. So this week, speaking of Pine Run Inn, I don't know. Are we going tomorrow? I'll have to check my finances, but we might go back out there tomorrow and see what's going on. Hello, Spinette. How's it going, bud? So we might be going out to the Pine Run Inn tomorrow. And I put a link in the chat for tonight's Fox Sunday Flashback with Dan Richards, my buddy Dan Richards, from 7 o'clock Eastern time tonight until 11 o'clock Eastern time. Almost forgot. He'll be playing 4 solid hours of classic country, classic rock, and southern rock, and all at your request. And the number is 810-230-9777. That is 810-230-WRSR from my good buddy Dan Richards. The Fox Sunday Flashback tonight at 7 o'clock on Flint's Classic Rock Authority, 103.9 The Fox. I could probably be a radio DJ because I got this down pat pretty well. But I'll let the professionals take over on that. I can do the Sunday video update like no one else can, and they do what they do like no one else can. So, I joined the stream on my computer. Cool. Well, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. This mess here in the background, I've been trying to, I've been saying for weeks now, I'm going to clean this mess up. Pretty soon, you're not going to see all this clutter behind me. Um, there's just so much other stuff going on that I haven't really had time to stop and really focus on cleaning this mess. And when I do get the free time, by the time I get the free time, I'm tired. I just don't want to do anything. So, um, but eventually, sooner or later, all this mess will be a thing of the past. You won't be seeing that anymore. But you can see my Uncle Sam hat. I don't even know how it goes on. It's not even straight. But yeah, we'll be cleaning this up here pretty soon. It won't You won't be seeing all this clutter back here anymore. Um, so yes, I did get my head shaved. I like to keep my hair short. It's starting to get warm outside, and I like to keep short hair so it doesn't, there's not a lot of moisture, and then my hair gets greasy. Then I gotta wash it again. I have to scrub it, like 5 or 6 times with the shampoo just to get it to not be greasy. So I like to keep my hair short, or at least close to the scalp. Short enough to where the moisture won't get to it. Um, but yeah, I decided to shave my head again. Um, there was my first real string of shout out videos on my other channel, the Jared Fuller Show. If you're not subscribed, make sure you go subscribe. Do I play Roblox? Roblox? No, no, I don't play Roblox. Um, I don't have the console that requires Roblox, or whatever console it is where you play Roblox. I'm not familiar with the new age video games. I'm still stuck on Super Mario from like back in the 90s. I play, Super Mario World on occasion, and I play Bomberman, and I play, some other games from the Super Nintendo. Do I play Minecraft? No. Nope. I don't do any of that stuff. Another bag that can be moved. I don't play any of those games. Just it doesn't really pique my interest a lot. Um, this new generation, they're always into things that I have no clue what they're even talking about. So when they mention something, I'm just kinda rubbing the old beard like, I don't know what they're talking about, but we'll go along with it. Um, so yeah, I my plans this week, I paid my bills last week, so I got those bills paid. I have to pay my phone bill tomorrow. I have to go to the post office for a money order and a postage stamp, and that'll be paid. And yeah, so I got some things to do tomorrow, and might go out to Pine Run. We might go out to Pine Run. No guarantees yet, but we might. If Dad doesn't have the money, I probably will. Um, so for those of you just joining, um, I found out this morning my aunt passed away. My aunt Amy. She had health problems for quite a long time, and she was my mom's sister-in-law. She passed away this morning. I think it was this morning, or maybe late last night. I think she was in her 70s. She had heart issues, and my cousin had to pull the plug, so that's really hard. So, my aunt Amy passed away. It's kind of a sad day, I was never close with my aunt Amy, but we did keep in communication on Facebook. And it's never easy when someone dies, and my cousins are without a mom now, so if I can be of any help to them, of course I'm going to be there to help guide them through it, because I know what it's like to lose a mom. It sucks. So, but that's life. I mean, and that's not to be dismissive of a person's feelings, but in the overall general grand scheme of things, that's just the way life goes. um People ask me sometimes, like, Jared, are you afraid of death and dying? And once upon a time, I used to be. I used to be terrified of death, especially when I was in my teens. because, being a child of cancer survivor, and I was always told that I may not live to be 16 years old. And so I was always kind of just watching every move I made. And I was just very cautious and careful because, you know, you never know. And well, obviously I didn't die. Um, I'm double that plus some. So I'll be turning 39 in July. And I'm gonna be 40 next year. So I'm still happy to be here. And by the way, Mom, I'll be coming off grounding when I turn 40 next year, because the joke was my mom would always tell me, "You're grounded until you're 40." And this was back when I was like 17. So, I'll be coming off grounding next year. Um, so no one's here to ground me. Well, dad can ground me, but, um, yeah. So that's kind of a little something I hold on to just to keep it funny and to keep, the humor going. So I'm not miserable missing my mom. So one of your grandmothers died. I'm sorry to hear that. All of my grandmas are gone. Um, all my grandparents are gone. I have no more grandparents. My last surviving grandparent had passed away back in 2022, and that was my dad's dad. And yep, and all my mom's brothers and sisters, including my mom, are all gone. And my mom was the last of 17 pregnancies from my grandmother. So, um, yeah, my grandma was a busy lady. Um, so Dad, I was talking to our buddy Joel Thomason, and he said that Grandma Beulah owned the bar in Oakley. I thought Aunt Flossie owned the bar because I mom told me that not mom's sister Flossie, um, Grandma Beulah's sister Flossie owned the bar in Oakley. That's what I've always heard. So it was because I'm a bit confused. Um, I remember mom telling me a story when she was a little girl that, well, because my grandmother, was an alcoholic, and my mom and my Aunt Anna would be sitting in the car freezing while my grandma was in the bar getting drunk. And my Aunt Flossie would say, "Jude," because that was my grandma's, nickname was Jude. She says, "Jude, why don't you take those babies home?" And she sat at the bar and she says, "Why don't you just mind your own goddamn business and pour me another drink?" And they're like, this was back in the 60s, back then it was, the times were different. But like, okay, whatever. Um, but it was really, that was how it was for my mom growing up. It was a different time for sure. And grandma was an alcoholic. She was a drunk. She was a nightmare when she would get drunk. My mom would tell me stories about her that would just make the hair on the back of my neck stand up. And also, will you make a shout out channel or make shout outs? That's on the other channel, not this channel. Um, but my grandmother was unbearable when she was drunk. She tried to dig out my grandpa's eyes. Actually, she got so drunk and so pissed at my grandpa that she tried to dig his eyes out. So, if that's any inclination, luckily and fortunately, alcoholism did not pass down to my mom or my dad, because my grandpa, dad's dad, was also, he back yeah, Grandpa Fuller was an alcoholic. Yeah, my grandpa was very abusive, not to open up old memories or anything or painful wounds or anything like that, but we're just stating facts here. My grandpa Fuller he was really abusive to my dad and my aunts and uncles. When he would get drunk on whiskey, he would come unglued. And my mom's mom was very abusive when she was drunk. So alcoholism does run in the family, but luckily it stopped with my dad and my mom. I mean, to drink a beer once in a while, that's different. To have a shot of whiskey at New Year's or to have a shot of whiskey for my birthday or whatever, that's nothing. But to drink every day, um, and then to come unleashed. on people is another, which I have not done. I would never do that. Um, but I wasn't trying to bring up any bad memories or anything. I was just merely stating facts. Um, so I don't even know how I got to that topic, honestly. Joel Thomason was saying that my grandma, which by the way, my grandma's real name was Beulah, and her name was Beulah Floetta Leona Dukes or no, let me try that again. Beulah Floetta Leona Shirey Dukes Shirey Searle Sperry. My grandma had a long name, but um, yeah, because her maiden name was Dukes, and then she married Ray Shirey, and then she married Don Searles, and then she was married to Milburn Sperry, which was my grandpa. So yeah, a little family history for you. Uh, but yeah, so that's a little bit of history on about my family. I don't really talk much about my family, um, not out of embarrassment or anything like that, but the topic never comes up. And I'm not saying that my relatives, grandparents, were. I'm not saying they weren't perfect. They did the best they could. I'm sure. I mean, I wasn't around back then to say otherwise. Dad would know. My mom would have known. Um, but you know, if you're an absentee parent, then there's really nothing that can be said other than you were never around. So, but yeah, my family history is not really the best, but a lot of old habits were broken uh, when it came to my mom and my dad. They stopped the cycle, if you will, because my mom was very strict, and she, even when I had cancer, she was very, and she had to be strict. When I came home from the hospital, my mom would scrub down everything, like the countertops, the refrigerator, the doorknobs, everything. And the house had to be clean for me. And my mom's rule was, if you are not clean, if you even have the tiniest speck of dirt under your fingernails, you are not coming in my house. You are not coming around Jared, because he's home from the hospital and I still had the port in my chest, my chemo port. And it's like, you're not coming in if you're dirty. That's just the way it's going to be. And I remember mom telling me, Dad, that Anna came over. My mom's sister Anna came over, and she stood on our front porch, and she took a bottle of isopropyl rubbing alcohol, and she doused her whole arms from her shoulders all the way down to the tips of her fingers. She stood on our front porch and rubbed down her hands and her arms and shoulders, everything. She says, "There, now can I see my nephew?" Right this way. So Anna would come see me. Uncle Willie came to see me, although Uncle Willie, um, I mean, my memories of Uncle Willie were he always, he was working on chainsaws, so he always smelled like gas and oil, because he was working on chainsaws and he was working on cars all the time, and he was always fixing everything, lawnmowers, you name it. He would cut logs and everything. My Uncle Willie did it all, but he was always filthy all the time. And so my mom told him, I know you love your nephew, but you have to be clean. You are not coming in this house being filthy. And he says, fine. So he would go home, take a shower, come back and see me. Have you watched a Minecraft movie? No. I'm not really into Minecraft. I don't even know what it is, honestly. I don't watch any of that stuff. Um, but that's how it was. Hello, King Bob. So, that's how it was, just to, give a little bit of back history. Oh, and Dad, did you know that people are still saying that I never had cancer? Yeah, people are still saying it. Yeah, I mean, people are really this ignorant and just plain ass stupid, saying that I faked having cancer when all of the available evidence that I presented it says otherwise. And when anytime someone accuses me of faking having cancer, I just tell them to go fuck off and don't come back. Leave me alone. Because I know what I went through. My dad knows what I went through. If my mom were still here today, she would tell you what I went through. Um, so, to anyone saying I fake cancer, fuck off. I didn't fake it. And I would never lie about something like that. How long does it take to edit a YouTube video? It depends on the size of the video. Um, if you watched the recent video on the Jared Fuller Show YouTube channel, which was Dodge a Trucker animation, I get a lot of questions about those, like what program do you use? Paint. I just use the Paint program. That's it. I use the Paint program, I use Windows Media Player, and I download copyright free sound effects, and I just add them in. That's all I do. That's all I do. It's not hard. The animations, I mean, they're so easy. Any of you in chat could put an animation together. It's really simple. But they are time consuming. I'm not gonna lie, they are time consuming. It takes a minute to put all the stuff together. But just a regular, like a shout out video, the shout out videos are usually 30 seconds or less, if I had to say. And I just add the fade in and the fade out. That's it. So it doesn't take a long time. But then what I do is, after I record the video with my GoPro, I upload it to the computer. Then I go to the VLC media player, and I use the VLC media player to change the resolution, so that way the picture will be more crisp and more clear during playback. So, there are some modifications in editing that I have to do, but it's not hard. You hired an editor. Um, okay. I, you know, I all of my editing just comes from up here. If I get an idea for something, I just go with it. All the poem videos and all the poems I write, I it just comes to mind, and I jot the ideas down. Some of them go over with people, some of them don't. It's a give and a take. So, um, I don't know what the rest of this week holds. I usually talk about what's to come in the week, but you can never be too sure, and I don't want to say something will or won't happen because I don't know. Won't know until the time comes. So, yeah, I have officially run out of things to say or to talk about. Um, but I want to go back to I just want to talk a minute about what I had rattled off about Herbert Klotz. Now, in the beginning, when I first discovered who their son was, and I like I said, I done everything in my power as a cancer survivor, especially to show love and support to the family. That's what I did. I had no ill will or nefarious intentions. I still don't. I never will. And then those group of people come along and fed a bunch of bullshit to that family, and now they want nothing to do with me, which is unfortunate for them, really. It's their loss. Um, but my issue is not so much the fact that they cut ties with me, not as much as it is the fact that Herbert is not interested in the truth. When I have pointed out every way possible to look at this, to examine, like, hey, you're being given false information about me, and then just for him to say I don't care, that's lazy. It's intellectual dishonesty. When you don't care about what's true and what's not, that's a recipe for disaster. Because there's no way I'm gonna just willy-nilly believe anything I'm told without being able to independently verify it myself. And that was one of the points I tried to get along to Herbert. I said Robert, didn't I? I apologize. His name isn't Robert, it's Herbert. That was one of the many points I tried to get along to him, was the fact that you need to care about what's true, because when someone tells you something, and if you don't know how to properly assess the information you're given, you're gonna run into problems. Not just believing things that aren't true, but you're gonna cut off a lot of healthy friendships, and you're judging what someone says to you, but then in the same breath says, I don't care about what's true." Well, if you don't care about what's true, then why are you cutting ties with me? And his excuse was, "We just don't wanna be in the middle of it." Well, Herbert, I did not drag you into this. Those people who were talking shit dragged you into this. What more do you wanna know? I don't keep anything from you. I mean, just going back to this comment that Herbert, "We don't need you in our life." Well, I mean, is that really, you know, have you felt like that the whole time? So in other words, did you waste my time, Herbert, or Herbert? I don't know why I'm getting the name wrong. He's named after my grandpa. Um, and my uncle, and yeah. Anyway, your problem is not our problem. Well, it's not. That's not the point, Dad. He says your problem is not our problem. Well, it's not my problem. It never was my problem. If someone has a problem with me, Herbert, that is their problem, not mine. And then they dragged you into this and made it your problem. So don't tell me that my alleged problem is not your problem. Well, that's their problem, and their problem should not be your problem. That's how that goes. So, you guys are chatting amongst yourselves, which is fine, but I'm gonna continue on with my point. And then he says, "My son does not need you in his life." I think that's bullshit. Um, I saw the happiness on his face when I would write letters to him. I saw that. His mom took pictures and sent them to me whenever he received a letter from me. I saw the happiness on his face. So don't you fucking tell me that your son does not need me in his life. No, I guess your son needs liars, because you seem to have adopted these people into your circle of friends. And that's fine, Herbert. I, if you want liars in your life, if you want to associate with fucking liars, then be my guest. Be my guest, but don't you dare say that I never cared about your kid, and don't you fucking dare say that your kid didn't need me in his life. Had I not come along and introduced myself, your kid would not have even so much as wanted to put up a Christmas tree last year. So don't you fucking dare tell me that he does not care. That's the kind of dishonesty that just boils my blood. And then he says he's gonna take it to the authorities. You know what? Take it to the fucking Supreme Court, dude. I don't care. Having a civilized conversation, trying to get you to understand something like, logic and critical thinking. I'm trying to get you to critically think, Herbert. I'm trying to get you to critically think. And when I corner you with logic and critical thinking, then you want to cry and pout harassment. It's no different from anybody else who's cried and pouted harassment. No one's harassing you. It's harassment when you want to elude the truth. And when I try to get you to see the truth, then you wanna call it harassment. There is no harassment. I'm just trying to get you to understand the shit you're being fed and how to assess the information once you're given it. And this is why I find so much irony and this is coming from childhood cancer families where evidence is the most needed, where it matters the most. But when it comes to gossip, suddenly it doesn't matter. Sorry, it always matters. So you can run back and tell your fucking minions. You can tell Debbie Carver, you can tell Carrie Rickman, you can tell Tammy Stamper, you can tell um, all these people to fuck off. And that's it. Tell them to fuck off. Ask them, you know what? Ask them for evidence. Ask, Justina Banks, or should I say Russ Boggs. Ask for evidence for the claim. How many times do I have to point this out? Do you not understand English? English is your primary language, I would suspect. So surely you understand what I mean when I say press them on or for evidence and ask for an unfiltered, unedited picture of their face. And you're just too lazy to even do that, Herbert, because it's more comfortable to be ignorant than it is to be well informed of the truth of things. If I'm really out here breaking the law, I mean, I think I'd be in prison by now, wouldn't you think? Yeah, I mean, that would be my diagnosis. I'd be sitting behind bars, but here I am enjoying freedom once again for another week and another day. Herbert, while you admitted that you don't care about truth, that doesn't mean that no one else should. Bye, King Bob. That doesn't mean that no one else should care about the truth, and that doesn't mean that no one else should care to look and see what's true and what isn't. I'm sorry that your ignorance gets the best of you, Herbert, but there are people in the world who actually give a fuck about what's true and what's not. I'm one of them. If you want to be intellectually lazy, that's up to you, but you're going to suffer in the long run. I guarantee it. And when everything comes to pass and when you find out that every fucking thing you were told about me was a lie, you could at least be man enough to come back and apologize to me and say, "Jared, I was wrong about you and I'm sorry. My wife was wrong about you and she's sorry." Well, she could come to me herself with an apology. And I would be wide open for that. I'm not going to close off the opportunity. That's why you know, I don't really close off the opportunity for anyone to redeem themselves unless I've given chances and they continuously engage in the same shit they're in. Then it's buy time because I'm done. But Herbert, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt here. Someone told me 1,000 different things. If the same claim, Herbert, had come from 1,000 different people, I would not believe them until they show me evidence for the claims they make. For the claims, not of the claims. I don't need evidence of a claim if they're verbalizing it to me. I need evidence for the claim they are making. Why is it so hard? And I'm going to challenge that every fucking time. And I would hope, Herbert, that you would challenge it. I would hope that Nicole would challenge that instead of telling Jody Jacobs, "Oh, thank you so much." Fuck Jody Jacobs. Who cares about her? You know, I sympathize to a point because they are bereaved parents, and I'm not here to talk down or to make light of that delicate situation. Their children died from cancer. I am not here to talk down. anybody or to make light of a delicate situation, but that does not give them the right to be ignorant. Does not give them the right. You still have an obligation to be honest. You still have an obligation to not lie about people and think you're going to get away with the consequences. It's not going to happen. Because if the law doesn't get you, I will. And I'll get you in the sense that I'm going to keep coming here talking about it and exposing the living piss out of you people until you shut the fuck up. This has gone on for way too long, and I'm over it. I'm out here trying to live my life. I'm trying to do the right thing in the world. I'm sorry that these people don't believe in doing good things in the world. If they weren't spending so much time focused on me, they could be out there making the world a better place themselves, but they choose not to. Grown people acting like children. And the cancer warriors, those little fighters, act more mature than a lot of these grown ass adults do. If I was out here doing something I shouldn't be doing, and you guys are convincing everybody that I'm this horrible person and doing things that are illegal, my, put it in a police report. What are you waiting for? You know? That's what I'm saying. What are you waiting for? Other than, well, Jared's just being nasty and using foul language. You're fucking A right, I do. I absolutely say the word fuck, and I say lots of foul language on this channel. You're absolutely fucking right about that. Yes. Because I can. And I highly doubt the word fuck is gonna ruin someone's day. And if it does ruin your day, reevaluate your life. Seriously, look in a fucking mirror and reevaluate your life. Pick your battles. You know, what matters more? Someone saying the word fuck or an innocent child dying of cancer? Pick your battles, man. Pick your fucking battles. We're adults in a fucking society. You think the F word would that should be the very last thing that makes you turn away from somebody. You know, we don't live in fucking Disney World. This is reality where real shit happens to good people, you know, and I'm just trying to do my part. Some real shit has happened to me and I'm just trying to be the best person I can be. Not only to myself but to the world. We have we have gone to a very, very dark place in this day and age. Humanity has slumped. I feel like I'm being punked. Every day I wake up, I wake up in a world where people they don't care about truth. They don't conceal their lies. No one cares. No one cares, and that's sad because our time on this planet is limited. Wouldn't you wanna make the time that you have the best time? Wouldn't you wanna get the most out of life by helping people, doing the right thing? Lying does not help anybody, especially when you can't prove it. There's no evidence for it. Why would you lie, actively lie and feel good about it? You don't see me sitting around here making up shit to get back at people, although I very well could. I just don't because I'm more mature than that. I'm not like Russ Boggs creating a Justina Banks Facebook account. I'm not like all these other idiots who are out here thinking they've got something on me and they're going to take me down. Try as you may and try as you might, but you're going to fail laughably. Until you have something on me that you can actually get me on, which that will never happen. But until such time as you do, just take a seat and shut the fuck up. Because I'm going to be out here doing things and helping people, whether you like it or not. You're not going to stop me. Nobody's going to stop me. Not even the idiots who sit on Facebook all day long with their stupid cancer families exposing Jared Fuller. Fuck off with that. There's only 4 members in that group. 4 members. Wow. Wow. And here's the hypocrisy, where the hypocrisy comes in, and I'm gonna read the rules of this group. It's you can see it, that you know that the group exists publicly, however, it's a private group. So here, I'm gonna show you. I'm not gonna show you, I'm gonna read it to you. There are 4 members in this Cancer Families Exposing Jared Fuller. This group has been created to attempt to help cancer families know the truth about Jared Fuller, aka Jer Bear, to help be a voice for kids when they can't be their own against his supposed advocacy. This was created on the 22nd of April. No new members in the last week. No new posts, 7 in the last month. No screenshotting. Cowards. Do not screenshot anything in this group and share it outside. How do you know they're not already doing that? Although there's 4 people in this group, how do you know that hasn't happened yet? I'll never tell. It will result in automatic removal. Why would it result in automatic removal? You want people to know the truth, the alleged truth about me, but you're not letting them share outside of this group? I find that to be really awkward. And I'm the one being weird? This one makes me laugh. Be kind and courteous. Really? Really? What the fuck do you know about being kind and courteous? We're all in this together. Yeah, that's no lie. To create a welcoming environment. Let's treat everyone with respect. You don't know what the fuck respect is. You wouldn't know if it fell on you or if it jumped up and bit you in your ass. Healthy debates are natural, but kindness is required. You don't know what kindness is. Don't preach kindness when you haven't shown it. Healthy debates, there is no debate. You're just wrong, demonstrably fucking wrong. Ask questions. Yeah. Yeah. They should be whoever created this group, and if you're going to join this group, you should be asking questions of the people who created this group. I noticed the group went from 11 members to 7 members. Now it's down to 4. You think I don't know? I know. Do not be afraid to ask questions and share your story. We're all in this together. There is no story. The only story you're going to get is Jared called me out because I'm being a dishonest fool and wanting to convince other people of my dishonesty. Respect everyone's privacy. Being part of this group requires mutual trust. So, in other words, if you can lie for us, welcome to our little Jared Fuller bashing group that we don't want him to know anything about. Too late. I already fucking know it. I'm looking right at it. Authentic, expressive discussions make groups great, but may also be sensitive and private. Well, why would anything be private? Again, if I've broken a law, why would you keep that private? Shouldn't you put that in a police report? Just saying. What's shared in the group should stay in the group. Yeah, because that's what a coward does. We want to talk shit about Jared, but please don't let any of this leak because we're having too much fun bashing someone who we can't prove did anything wrong, but we're going to convince a bunch of people that he did. And this last one, you're kidding me, right? Rule number 5, no hate speech or bullying. You fucking bullied me quite a bit and you continue to do so. Make sure everyone feels safe. Bullying of any kind isn't allowed. Well, if bullying of any kind isn't allowed, then what the fuck business do you have running this group? Because every last one of you fuckers are not only liars, but you're bullies. Bullying of any kind isn't allowed, and degrading comments about things like race, religion, culture, sexual orientation, gender, or identity will not be tolerated. But it's okay to bully Jared Fuller. It's okay to degrade Jared Fuller. That's fine. but any of the other stuff is off limits. You guys are fucking cowards. Fucking cowards. You know what? I'm going to end it on that note because we're already at 4 o'clock. You people are fucking cowards on Facebook. So that's how I'm going to end it. Dad, any final words? No, you're just quiet over there. Uh, um, I think I've made my points, but you're always welcome to add. It's 4 o'clock now. So did you want to add anything? No? Okay. Well, thank you to everyone in chat for stopping by this week. Audio, I think is how you pronounce it. King Bob, Spinette, my boy Spinette, love Spinette. He's a good kid. And chewing off my toenail, of course, with his humor. I love you guys so much. I thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll be back next week. I'll be here on May 11th, 2025. So until then, you have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Take care.